Marisha here, and today I'm going to share with you some of the snacks that I enjoy eating over here in the UK that I cannot get in the US. I'm going to start off with candy bars. So, the first candy bar I'm going to tell you about is called Boost. I discovered this when I was living in Australia, fell in love with it. When I came back to the States, every time I go to a world market, I would search for it, hoping that they carried it, and they don't. I've never been able to find one in the States. So when I got over here, I was excited to be able to get one. And I've cut one in half so you can see what it is like. You'll see that there's a ring of caramel, and then the center is sort of like a chocolatey nougat with bits of cookie in it. But I then discovered a candy bar over here that I like even better than Boost, and that is called Picnic. You may notice that these look kind of small in size, and that is because these are not full-size candy bars. I just bought like a multi-pack of small ones for the purpose of this video. So don't worry if you come over here and you want candy bars, that's your thing. The normal size candy bars are similar to our normal size candy bars. I also cut this in half so you can kind of see what it looks like. Um, it also has some caramel, but you'll see that a lot of the center is filled up with crispy cereal, like what you would find in a Crunch bar, kind of. But it also has raisins, you can see that there, and peanuts. This is a peanut over here. So you can sort of talk yourself into thinking that it's healthy because it has fruit and nuts in it. And then the final chocolate that I'm going to tell you about is in the States, you know that you can get Terry's chocolate orange at like Christmas time, but it's really difficult, if not impossible, to find the rest of the year. Over here, you can get Terry's chocolate orange anytime. But what you can also get that I have never seen in the States is Terry's chocolate mint. So it's the same shape, it's orange shape. You whack it, it breaks into the pieces and stuff, but it's chocolate mint flavored instead of orange. And if you are a chocolate mint person, you will love this. It is the best because it's a very strong mint, but in a good way. I love these things. I can actually get this year round if I'm willing to travel out to Asda, which is like out in zone 3. So I don't necessarily get it all the time, but I can get it year round if I want. And now that it's Christmas season, it is popping up in other stores that are closer to where I am. So I might be eating more of that in the next couple of months. Moving on to non-chocolate candy. We obviously can get gummies in the States, so this isn't like groundbreaking, but I really like Roundtree's Randoms because it's a mix of gummies, not just shapes, but types of gummies. So it has the normal gummy, it has a kind of two-layered gummy where it's like normal on the top, and then this white part is a slightly different kind of consistency. It has the two-layer, but also in the center is some like juice, so similar to Gushers. I don't even, do they still have Gushers in the States? I don't know. And then this one, which is sort of like almost like a cross between marshmallow and gummy in a way. Um, Now, gummies over here are way more popular than they are in the States because the shelf space devoted to gummies is outlandish. And there is a wide variety of kind of the types, flavors, the types in terms of like what their consistency is. Um, and I would say that there's some gummies like the Roundtrees that I like. There's another type of gummy called wine gums over here that is really good, but they also have a very popular gummy called Jelly Babies that I think is just disgusting. So again, like just a very wide kind of range in terms of not just variety of shapes and flavors, but also what is, I think, moreish or not. Um, the other thing that I want to talk about when talking about gummies, though, is this flavor. Now, in the States, if you were to get a gummy or a Jolly Rancher or some other, candy that was this color, you would assume it would be grape flavored. And I hate grape flavored stuff. Like normal grapes are fine, but grape flavored candies and pops and like popsicles and stuff, disgusting. They don't have grape flavored stuff over here. Like it doesn't exist. Instead, this is black currant flavored, and it is so much better than grape. And so the UK has us beat in terms of like black currant trumps grape any day. The last thing I'm going to show you in terms of candy is actually something that you can get in the States, but this has sort of an interesting story um, that I just wanted to tell you about. So opal fruits are actually Starburst, and they're called Starburst over here, except they used to be called opal fruits. And I think that's why this is limited edition. I think they just brought back like the old name for some reason. I don't know. I literally just found this today when I was shopping for these foods, and I saw this and I was like, oh, I have to pick those up. And this is why. This was a trivia question that I got wrong at league trivia here. And this is the only reason that I know that opal fruits are Starburst. I mean, yes, it looks like Starburst in terms of like the packaging and stuff, but you might think like, oh, it's just really similar, or oh, it's a knockoff. You wouldn't necessarily say, oh, I bet that's actually Starburst, but just a different name. Except that my question was, what did Starburst used to be called in the UK before, and I think it was maybe the early 2000s or something, when the name changed to reflect the name that it has in all other countries. And I, of course, didn't know it because I didn't live here at a time when they used to have opal fruits. Um, so I will never forget now that Starburst used to be called opal fruits over here. And similarly, Snickers used to be called Marathon over here, but then they changed it again to be Snickers. So I just wanted to share that little bit of information with you. Moving on to salty snacks, I'm going to talk a little bit about pretzels. Pretzels in the UK are actually kind of hard to get. Um, you can find them, especially in terms of pretzel fins. So if you went into like a Waitrose, I know that they have a certain brand of like pretzel fins that you can buy. They're kind of expensive. But in terms of what we're used to in the States, where you go into the chip aisle and there's like a whole like couple of shelves of pretzels that are in a wide variety of like shapes and sizes, that does not exist over here. Usually if I want just normal pretzels, not pretzel thins, just normal pretzels, I have to wait until they happen to be in stock at like an Aldi or a Lidl, where it's like, oh, this, 2 week theme is like German, and so they import like some German stuff in their center aisle, and it happens to be like they happen to have pretzels as part of that, right? It's not even a year-round thing at those stores. Um, and when you're talking about that, you're talking about like twists. I have never ever seen pretzel rods over here, um, or the waffle or grid shaped, pretzels, alphabet shaped pretzels, very rarely pretzel sticks. Actually, the first time I saw pretzel sticks was today when I was in Aldi, and again, it was a seasonal thing that they're not going to carry all the time. So if you're like a really big pretzel fan, you might find it a little bit difficult. What they do have are pretzel pieces that are flavored, and they have garlic bread flavored pretzel pizzas, which I've never seen in the States. And these things are really, really good. So occasionally, I've only ever found these at Poundland. I don't know where else I could buy them. So I don't eat them very often, but they are really, really good and kind of addictive because it's garlic. They do taste like garlic bread. It's really good. Moving on to more chip-like things. These are Palm Bears, and they are similar in like texture, consistency to Munchos, but they're better than Munchos because they taste more like potato. They taste like more like real food. And you will find that with food kind of across the board in the UK because they have a lot fewer additives, preservatives, sort of chemical ingredients. In fact, I saw a comparison recently on social media that was comparing orange Fanta in the US and the UK. And you can tell just by looking at them that they're different because they're different colors. And the coloring in the US version comes from dyes, right? Like red number 40 and yellow lake 6 or whatever. And the coloring in the UK version comes from like carrots and beets, right? So even just on that level, even their snack food is healthier. And these are really great because they're light, and just when you just want like salt, and really the goal is to have salt, not necessarily to have food of substance. It's nice to have something kind of light to snack on. And these are really popular because you'll find store brand versions where, I've got ones that are like cheeky monkeys, and I just picked some up that were just like bare faces or whatever. Um, when it comes to actual potato chips, or crisps as the Brits like to say, the flavors over here are pretty interesting. So you can get normal, just salty chips. But the other flavors that are most common and that you will find everywhere, and store brands will make their own version of, are cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, and prawn cocktail. So if you're talking about having prawn cocktail as a standard chip flavor, it's sort of like a crime against humanity, I think. But in addition to those, you will very frequently find limited edition flavors that are just like all over the place. I've seen cheeseburger flavored chips over here. I've seen chicken tikka flavored chips. I've seen pigs in a blanket flavored chips, all sorts of things. And so while I was shopping today for these snacks, I came across a limited edition flavor that I think just came out, that I just had to get to show you as an example of the kinds of things that these guys come up with. And before I debut it, I'm going to tell you briefly about Walker's brand chips. Walker's is the big brand of chips over here. And if you come over here and you get Walker's, you will see that they look exactly like Lay's potato chips, except it just says Walker's instead of Lay's. And that is because Lay's owns Walker's. And I think it was a matter of Walker's used to be its own kind of company over here, and it got bought out by Lay's. And Lay's just kept the name Walker's because of name recognition, but did change all of the packaging to reflect the Lay's kind of design and logo. So without further ado, this is cheese toasty, which is what they call a grilled cheese sandwich with baked beans, right? Because it's like the beans on toast, but making it a cheese sandwich. So I'm gonna break one out here and tell you what I think of this chip. Oh, I got a big one. Well, maybe only eat half of it. I would not choose to eat this. It definitely tastes like baked bean. Um, I don't eat chips very often over here, partly because they're more expensive than they are in the States. If you were gonna buy like a snack bag this size, in most stores it would be like a pound, which I think is ridiculous for something for chips this size. Um, but also partly because of the flavor situation. My go-to flavor in the States was jalapeno. I really miss jalapeno flavored chips, and related to that, cheddar jalapeno Cheetos. But you just can't find jalapeno snacks over here like you can in the States. For starters, I don't think Brits can handle the spice, but also they obviously don't have the Mexican influence that we have. So that is one of the things that I miss about the States. And whenever I go back, I try to get some sort of jalapeno flavored something to bring back as a treat for myself. Um, but it's probably good that I don't eat as many chips over here. It tends to be more kind of like maybe the Palm Bears or popcorn. So that is the candy and the chips, and I would wash that all down with a lemon Fanta, which you cannot get in the US, and I don't understand why. I briefly was able to in Northern Virginia. There was a European import store, but then they stopped carrying it, and I went online searching for lemon Fanta, and there was none to be found in the US. And so, I first discovered it, I think, when I went to Romania, and every subsequent trip to Europe, part of what I was excited about is, oh, I'm going to get a chance to like have lemon Fanta again. And now I can have it whenever I want because I'm over here and it doesn't have any weird dyes in it for its color. So there you have it. The idea for this video was actually from my friend Amy, who wanted to know what kinds of snacks I liked over here that I couldn't get in the States. If you have similar questions about, what life is like for me over here in the UK, drop those in the comments and I'll see what I can do in terms of making more videos for you. In the meantime, like, subscribe, tell your friends how gnarly this channel is, and I'll see you next time.